The whole thing. What's going on, Marcus? Marcus.
What's going on?
Doing, man. What's going on, Marcus?
I thought y'all was doing
Marcus.
the live thing on pseudo killers. What's going on?
Well, yes, we want to hear you. We want to hear you. We ain't went live yet. It's live now. Yeah, we live in the building, man. It's live now. We already know what you're gonna come with. You're gonna get beat up. Yeah, you expect too much. I don't think you understand the context of history and how history is told. Yeah, history always go. The victor always tell history. We forgot that? Huh. How you doing, brother Cedric? Let me see what we got. Let the people get up in the building, man. A lot of expectations. A lot of expectations. See the building is filling up, man. Let them get up in there. We can go ahead and work this thing like we know how to do it. Yeah, the people coming in. I see you, Jody Breeze. What's good? What's good? Everybody with the pseudo killers, man. Let me give out the link there. All right. Okay.
Brother Marcus, what's good?
Don't run, Marcus. Marcus jumped in on his phone.
What's good? I'm ready to switch to my laptop in a few minutes.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I'm on my
switch to
phone right now.
Oh, yeah, switch to that. Yo, give us all the how they didn't do it. Y'all want to hear it. Like that. Like your touch on things. Like that. You want them to teach Marcus Garvey in the high schools.
What?
They ain't teach Marcus Garvey.
No, they
tried to lock his ass up. Was what they tried to do. They put him out.
Who gonna teach Marcus Garvey?
They definitely wasn't gonna teach that.
They ain't gonna teach that.
No, sir.
You wouldn't expect them to.
Nah, yeah, man. You can find them in the African American Museum, though. People will start to learn about them. You know what I mean? Man, like Dr. Ben and them, you wouldn't have known. People know, but the regular African Americans don't know about that.
No.
They struggles with the federal government and all that stuff. People just they starting to get around that. And whose fault is it that we don't know? Is it white people that enslaved you? Expecting a whole lot out of people who thought you was different because of the color of your skin. Then people come up in this building a little bit. Have no expectations. I have very low expectations.
I've been watching over the last couple of weeks, especially with Black History Month, and something keep coming up. Black people and their need for a hero, the Messiah syndrome. We always looking for somebody to lead us somewhere. We looking for Moses to lead us out into the promised land. We looking for Jesus to come save the Black people. Who's gonna be our next leader? Which organization? Stop it. Stop it. This is pure thinking. That somebody's gonna stand in front and tell us. Somebody's gonna be the one who is going to tell us where. No. Stop. We need to get away from the Messiah complex. Your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, that's got to be your hero. Somebody close to you. My dad's my hero. Those other people, they're inspirational. But I saw my dad get up and work every day.
We ain't started the show yet. You going all the way in. We ain't even started yet. They don't know who you is. They don't know what we talking about. You know, already in full blown. Man, we ain't hey, Pan-African Designs, man. What's going on? He already into it. If not telling you his line, yes. And in fine fashion, my man. Pure Black, what's good? June, RBG, what's good with you? William Robinson, peace. Yeah, West Baltimore, man. All day, every day, man. Hilltop hustler. Rogers and Rice's town. You know what I mean? Above Northern Parkway. I lived above Northern Parkway. Walked across Northern Parkway. Bryce's was my favorite spot to hang out at all day. Y'all know what it is, man.
Are you related to Javante Tanks Davis's trainer?
No, I don't know. He lived all the way down there in Lexington Market. He lived, nope.
His accent is just like yours.
Because we from the same city.
I heard him speak. I said that he speaks just like
Latika B. Hey, Latika, put your channel in the thing. So I want everybody to go over there and subscribe to Latika, see what she's talking about. Subscribe to her. She's starting a podcast. We want to always support the people that's been supporting us over the years, man. We just want to do that. That's important. We all have our opinions and we want to hear it. We especially want to hear the sisterhood talk too, so they can kind of even the playing field. We need to hear a diverse perspective, because what we learn when studying science is diversity rules the day. So, you know, I'm always welcoming people in the server. If you're in the server, right, you always got a shot to jump on the panel for real. You know, everybody can get the shot, but the people in the server get the first time to, you know, and then you get to beat me up in the server. You get to throw the shots, throw the sources, see where you at. All right, we got brother Marcus on the day. He gonna always bring a Pan-African perspective. Smart guy. We supposed to be doing the show on the move. We're gonna do it. I respect his opinion, but he expects too much out of people in this slate. Write the whole textbook, whatever. Byron Coleman, peace. Contrarian thinker. What's up with you? Yeah, so y'all know what the topic is today. Did they lie to us in school? You know, we always talk about the hidden history. I say that's the key to pseudoisms, the hidden history. I'll say that, right? But let's get started right, man. Look, man, this is Pseudo Killers. We here, right? We ready to go. We're in the building. Appreciate everybody coming through. We had 25 people. Let's just wait, let the house fill up a little bit. And we can kind of get into it, man. So Marcus, man, how you doing today though, brother? What's on your mind though? How you feeling? Let the people get in here before we get to going. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm doing pretty good. You know.
You put some good sources in the chat.
I caught up on the Discord. I was a little going for the first second, but then I finally read through the text. Hold on a second.
All right. Mr. Cedric, how your week going? How was your week going, brother?
It's going terrific. Can't complain. You know it is out here, watching the community, analyzing critical thinking, and just doing my due. Pan-African designs and apparel. Cedric doesn't understand nature based on that statement. Based on which statement?
Oh, you feeding the Pan-African James. You're gonna be in for a long
night. Pan-African James. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Probably I don't. From
you can feed into it. You can get them. Yeah. Get them. He's easy to get. He ain't hard to get. You already know it's whole playbook. Y'all believe that? You know how you do it. Y'all believe that?
Y'all believe that?
Yeah, I can't believe y'all. You know, you're gonna be smooth as shit. Well,
Ricardo Robinson, peace. Alicia Bennett, evening, peace, family. Good evening to you, my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Pan-African James. I gotta admire his zeal for that ideology. It ain't going nowhere. You can't do nothing with it, but but you have an ideology, and I appreciate it. It's a utopian concept. We would love for everybody to get along, for the lion and the dove and the lamb to walk together in peace. You know what? We would all love to sing Kumbaya and hold hands, but the reality of life just doesn't work that way.
Oh, y'all the poster shows, man. I hope y'all get up in here.
So
I'm about to switch to my laptop.
Wait, switch it up. We waiting for you.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
So I hear you're gonna give Top Cat that work on. That boy's silly. He actually wants to argue the validity of the out of Africa scientific theory. Y'all got to tune in for that debate. That's those debates that don't get past the first round. Do not acquiesce to a faulty premise. There is no data. There is no hypothesis which has overturned the out of Africa theory. It has even been further corroborated and substantiated by DNA. And if these guys' claims has any validity, it would completely uproot and overturn our understanding of evolutionary science and the origin of the species Homo sapiens sapiens. We know it arose on the continent of Africa. We understand the whole evolutionary process. Darwin made an hypothesis, made his scientific prediction, which was later confirmed. And to date, the theory of evolution is the most substantiated and corroborated scientific theory from all aspects, different fields, from anthropology to geology to biology to genetics, name it, has supported the theory of evolution. So in order to hold on to, I'm going to use Sabio's analogy here, to your to the consequences of white ignorance, to the consequences of white supremacy, whereby you will do everything to denounce and deny your connection to the African continent. We get cats like Top Cat who wants to question the very basis of everything that we know about modern biology today. Ridiculous.
Oh, what was you talking about? My fault.
I was talking about your upcoming debate with the Abo native.
Oh, wait, really? I supposed to be debating them? Oh man, shit! Juju in the building. I see you.
Am I supposed
Jesus,
to be debating?
Hey, Jesus Christ! So they saying they are not Homo sapiens sapiens? Oh man, did I put the link in this? Yeah, okay.
You see, when you don't,
I'm not even gonna study for that.
There is nothing to study. That
I'm just gonna have the Google open. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have that open. I ain't gonna have no slides. Each round, I'm gonna take a website from like maybe Maryland University, maybe Morgan State University, go to their biology department. Yeah, right. Come on, man. Museum. I'm gonna use all museum stuff. Yeah, I'm using museum stuff. And if he don't got museum stuff, I don't want to talk. You don't have anything in the museum, do you?
Yeah, no anthropology.
So they missed all that, huh?
No anthropology. None.
Oh, wow.
None.
Wow.
None. No anthropology to substantiate your claim.
Wow.
Again,
we got unbiased sports in the building. Unbiased sports is in the building. Valsa
brother.
Bennett is in the building.
Who
Right.
that? Who that? Pastor Bennett in the building?
Block is in the building. Peace. Gideon.
Gideon Black.
Peace. Sonic, what's going on with you? All right. Remember, man, we supposed to be supporting the system, man. Latika B show. We, you know what I mean? Make sure y'all go over there and subscribe. All right.
Put the link in the chat.
You gotta put the link in there, miss.
Yeah, everybody go
Link in
subscribe.
the chat. Yeah, yo, we got all the way from London, England. I see you, bro, Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson. All the way from across the pond. B. Lou, what's good? All right, I see y'all. Ali, I see you, man. What's good with you? Coleman, yeah. What it do? Okay.
Mr. Metro.
We at 52. We can get it cracking. So y'all see the title of the show, okay? Did they lie about Black history in schools? Pseudo killers. And it's been a hell of a discussion. Man, y'all need to join the Discord. We go back and forth. We do. But first, we like to say, Black African power. What's good? What's happening? Well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's the pseudo killers on deck. And we come to do, we got to do, and we're going to do, we got to do. We standing tall, we standing strong. Pseudo killers on deck. Boy, I see you, Cedric, the scientist. What it do? What it do? What it do?
You know what it is. Scientific literacy, critical thinking. It's a vaccine against the charlatans, the scammers, and the hustlers in the community. Pseudo killers, we always watch. We always watch. We always watch.
So there's a narrative that has been controlling our learning. And I can always smell it. That narrative is that our history is some kind of way hidden. And we hear this when we're trying to learn. They got books called The Hidden History. Our hidden history, what they have. You'll hear the pseudos talk about their hidden history. The hidden history this and the hidden history this and that and this and that. That's a code word for I'm about to lie to you. Okay? This is one of the things we heard. White people are lying about this. White people are lying about that. People lie, period. Simple. History is not a straightforward thing. Each nation, each tribe, each clan is in charge of telling their own history, regardless. The Jews would not allow Adolf Hitler and the boys to tell their history. It's madness. At a certain point, we got to grow up. You're going to have to put as soon as you learn how to read and write, it's on your shoulders to record your story because you know English. You're mad. It was not until 1968, when the Civil Rights Bill was passed, 1965? When was the Civil Rights Bill passed? We were trying to get some rights. Prior to that, was you really expecting, what do we expect? We expect too much. We expect too much. We need to participate. So, like, remember, I grew up in a neighborhood in the community, Jewish community, right? And they had schools they would go to. So, in American history, right, they teach American history. And if you expected them to go back to your ancient roots, then you was asking for a whole lot. But if you had the proper textbooks, you could see about African people. Now, Would they give you the whole detail? No, why? Like they're not doing that. They glorifying American history. And the bad part about it is we was an integral part about American history. So how much of that was they supposed to put in the textbooks? No, they wasn't going to do a whole lot of that. We seen Crispus Attucks. Is that the one, the first black man that got shot? Was it? You wouldn't know that name, right? What's the man name before the Revolutionary Star was the black man that was saying the British are coming, they shot him? I think that was a black man. That's definitely the guy we heard about.
Yeah, that was Christopher Attucks.
Right,
That's the guy right now.
I said it, Christopher. Hey, that's what you got. That what you want. So I'm saying, yo, you got to think about. We dealing with a group. We're dealing with a group of people who actually enslaved us because of the color of our skin. You got to pseudo at a high level. So I'm telling you that World War II was fought over that. Ah, man, Hitler was playing. The Jewish people, they not this, we gonna kill them in the oven. They not this, we are superior. See the whole superior thinking thing. Oh man, yeah, it did. And they was like, nah, we already enslaved people over that. We not gonna continue to do that. So they fought the war. The World War II was fundamentally saying that Hitler felt like he had developed the master race. Right? They even had the Olympics. Right? The Olympics was held in Germany. That's wild. That's wild. Like y'all didn't see them just burn up like, wow. You know, the Olympics is supposed to celebrate greatness and sportsmanship. But how is the Olympics in Nazi Germany? Anyway, you expecting too much out of all of them. Okay, let's knock that off. Like, put your pants on, right? Man up. Jesse Owens killed that whole pseudo premise when they lined up to run the 100-yard dash, and the blonde hair and blue eyes Germans was there, and they said, that gun said, pow! And Jesse was at the end and they was just getting started. At that point, Hitler was like, man, I done fucked up. He ain't never seen nobody run that fast before. The world had never seen to date. Back then, the world had never seen a human being run that fast. And he had on Adidas when he did it. Adidas ain't sold no less than 100,000 pair a year. No less than that. 200,000. Look it up. Adidas sponsored him, gave him the shoes. Yeah, man. So, okay. The war was fought over the pseudo concept, right, of suppressing people and we the massive race and we superior. That's fundamentally what it was. Yeah, he encroached on other land, but he was doing it because he felt like they were superior because they had the reason he really felt like he was superior because they was messing up science, right? And the whole thing about eugenics and all that. Now, Hitler wasn't even mentioning Charles Darwin. This is all misuse of Charles Darwin's work, and we need to study to understand that. Right? I'm putting us in a spot right here so we can kind of get what I'm saying. So if you don't even got your civil rights, are you actually expecting the textbooks to reflect African American history? And then we're in America. You think they really want to tell us about that? No, we can go with the textbooks and they tell you that the early humans, because I learned it, was in Africa. So yeah, they were saying that the African people, the early humans, and they said that in the textbooks I had. Okay. But that was in 1980. Okay. But if you go back to the 60s and all that, man, they wasn't even really, they was going the Stoops monkey trial. They was fighting over evolution. So they couldn't even write an accurate textbook. They was fighting over the idea of evolution. So you got to get that down pat before you can write an accurate story about African people, don't you? And you can't get an accurate story about humanity without tying down what they call, hold on. Africa, because African history is actually world history.
Well, it's,
Right? Now, Black history ain't world history. Y'all just confused. Black history is about African Americans, Black Americans in America. It's American history. It's Black American history. We mix it. See, they let us mix it all up. When you try to apply that, then you get in trouble when you're trying to talk about the Egyptians and you start to talk about other people. We're a whole group unto ourselves. And the moment in time that we realize that we're a group unto ourselves, yo, is the moment we will grow up. I'm going to say it again. We got to get off the nipple. You might not get what I'm saying, but you got to leave your mother house. Your mother and your daddy house. Everybody else did. Everybody left Africa and built their own thing, but we got snatched out of Africa. It's called the largest forced migration on earth. They took you, you wasn't trying to go nowhere on that one. It happened. Understand it happened. Understand the repercussions of it. Right? Admit your role, your fight, the whole 9 yards. Look at the whole story. Don't be afraid of it. It's important for your growth and development as a Black American, as an African American. Understand that story. And God damn it, you could always find that if you looked. I know they had it in a secret vault called the library. I know. And see, I understand. Because somebody told you was the most spiritual. If somebody told you was the most intellectual, you'd have ran to the books immediately. There was a lot of people that did, though. Lot of Black Americans, a lot of historians. CK, we having a conversation in Discord, and I say they ain't lied to us. Oh, they did. She puts in a whole lot of Black historians. She was really supporting my premise that it was Black people willing in America to tell our story. In the islands, some of the greatest historians come from the Caribbean. Am I not right or wrong,
yep.
Mr. Cedric?
That's a fact. Some of the most prolific writers of our
Walter
history,
Rodney,
Walcott. These are prolific writers from Trinidad and Guyana who have been telling our story. And again, from a Caribbean perspective, it is so necessary. I get Dutch history. I'm taught in schools because of being a Dutch colony, the greatness of the Piet Hein and Peter Stuyvesant. These were pirates. These were raiders, buccaneers on behalf of the Dutch government. They were criminals employed by the Dutch government. Now we are taught other heroes. They are the heroes of the Dutch. Doesn't make that history less relevant, but it's just understanding whose perspective it's being told from. Now, I can do two things. I can either confuse myself that has a direct relationship with me, or realize that I fit into that equation and now go and explore my own history. And the information is out there. Anyone tells you they have the secret hidden knowledge, if it is secret, unknown is not knowledge. Knowledge is known. If it is secret and it is hidden, they themselves cannot have access to this information. So these are word semantics and an attempt to play on our emotion, right? World history is being told, and you just have to analyze the perspective from which it's being told. African proverb says, as long as the hunter tells the story, the lion is always the loser.
It's called history, bro. And the Egyptians swear to goodness they didn't lose that fight against the Hittites. That's in their history. And the Hittites swear they beat the Egyptians. So you can go right to the daggone, the document is found in the United Nations. It's up on the wall. And when they tell a story, both of them won.
Yeah.
That's actually how history is told. Like when you tell a story of Michael Jordan, you don't talk about how bad of a gambler he was first. You bring that in later on. So that's why you got to know it's always been on us to tell our story. Thank goodness for those Black historians. If you sitting around thinking that they lied to us, man, they wasn't telling you, man, come on, lied to us. They just wasn't even getting into it. Right now is a fight over whether we should be able to do all that because it's divisive. Why fight that? Man, you set up your charity schools, put your money in, everybody go ahead and donate $5 a month. What we got? Close to 50 million Black people in America. $5 a month from half of them will take care of the bill to have a nice couple schools in different areas in different cities. Real easy, just for charity, right? Get a little building and teach the way. Now keep the pseudos out though, because we ain't doing all that. We was flying aircraft carriers in Africa. We ain't doing that. We floated across water. We was the most. No. We want to have the scientific literacy at the forefront of that, right? We can tell our story. We're not gonna sit back here and act like what they lied to us, but they ain't tell us. Wasn't their job to. When they job to connect us back to Africa. If you studied the slave trade, you already knew you came from Africa. That's our job, right? And to find the records, right? Because they was the ones with the records. They the ones with the slave trade records. They the ones that know what areas they took us from. So you would always have to go through white people at a certain point early in the game. Now we part of the archaeology, right? Now we this, now we that. Now, but prior to that, like we expect too much. Okay, so what did they lie about? What they just didn't put this shit in there. It wasn't relevant to them in their American thing. You was a slave, that's what it was. And they told you a couple people. I know the school I went to, like this book right here, the book my father gave me. This is Edgar Allan Poe. You know what I'm saying? Down off of Green Street, Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, school number 1, right? In the Negro. All right, and you know what I'm saying? People argue about the Egyptian thing. The white people was saying Negroes was in there. If you and look, and I'm just saying Negroes because all of it was a faulty premise, though, right? But if you just read Diop's book, right? Okay, he used the white people. It said the Egyptian race as seen and treated by anthropologists. Well, back then, what anthropologists? The majority, they was white boys.
European.
They was all Europeans. People don't even know Diop's used white boys. Right? So if you want to go back into the story about who they were saying, based off the morphology of the skulls, right? It's never a time. First of all, Diop's never said it was no Indo-Europeans in Egypt. That's where y'all messed that up. I go right to the book and he said, yeah, in prehistoric times, there were Indo-Europeans in Egypt. He said it. Everybody act like he didn't say, oh, they never said it. Diop said that. And yes. All right. Now the argument becomes, well, what the hell did the Indo-European look like on the Nile Valley? He would look like you and me. What else would he look like? They would have burnt up. They naked. I can't teach you evolution enough for you to get that a whole group don't dictate. You know what I'm saying? Like how you look, it just doesn't. It's the environment to dictate that. Right? So if you're in the northernmost regions and you got a certain holo group, right? Of course, you're going to have to be able to negotiate not having a lot of sun. You're going to have to be able to, get that enough sunlight in, right? To get that vitamin D so you ain't getting rickets and stuff like that. But nature is funny, man. Rick Kittle's looking darker than you, Cedric. And he got a holo group that's a European holo group. How you going to deal with that? How you going to negotiate that? But the point I want to stay close to, right, is that even in the wild racist Egyptology, the anthropologists, even look, I'm saying the ones that were super wild. Look, super wild. What's it? Man, here you go. I mean, wow. I just had the damn book. Yeah, he's super wild. Yeah, Samuel Morton. He the father of scientific racism. Yo, the father, look, listen, this one, the father of scientific racism. In the chapter, he got a chapter on page 59, section 8, called The Negroes. Look. And all he talking about is the Negroes. Look, and all he talking about is the Negroes in Egypt. So he couldn't get past. He was like, yeah, they in there, but they were just slaves. Yeah, he just relegated them to, he said, well, in our country, in the United States, they like the black people that was in our country, they were slaves. So, they had to learn their culture from the Egyptians. Now we realize that the things he was looking at, you know what I'm saying? You would have to really understand that sometimes the way a person was dressed, you thought they was Egyptian when they were really a Nubian, and back and forth. Like it's not they clear line like they was trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? So they got it wrong. It was a new field and they got it wrong. But what they didn't get wrong is they always had that different phenotype that they miscalled the Negro always in Egypt at all times. So they just lied the way they rounded, tried to switch it up and play the game and all that. But UNESCO straightened all that out, though. And we'll get to that next. Marcus, let's hear your point on that. Because I think you think they just lied and they expect more. Let's hear what you got to say. Because you put some great articles in the chat. Talk to me. How you feeling, brother? Good to have you on.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, beat me up. Go for it.
Okay. So I understand your point.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you.
I see your point. I understand it.
Thank you.
But my point is, you can do both. I can acknowledge that what they're saying in these textbooks is inaccurate. It is not correct. It is a lie. It supports and promotes white supremacy. I can acknowledge that.
I can acknowledge that too. Because what else was it?
And then in response to that being there, I then go and I study my own history. But the thing about it is, we got to remember that it's my tax dollars that support those textbooks. Right? Because the schools buy the textbooks and they get the money from the taxes that I pay. And so I have a right in that to demand that my history is equally taught, or that that the textbooks they get, right, represent a full history of America. See, I have that right. That's being an American citizen. So I should promote people who agree with my point of view to the school board and all like that, and be active in that, because you shouldn't want your children to go to a public school and be taught white supremacy. You just shouldn't want that. So my point is very clear. We have to teach our own history, true. The reason why we have to teach our own history is because they're not going to. I don't expect them to. But I do expect that my tax dollars support my community fully. And that includes those textbooks.
So I went to a Jewish school and they wasn't even teaching. I went to Falstaff. Everybody know what Falstaff is. If you're from Baltimore, Maryland, Northwest Baltimore, you know where Falstaff is, right? And the majority of the people, over half of the people was Jewish, and they ain't teach Jewish history. Make me understand that. They taxpayers, right? I did not get a full dose of Jewish history. I'm gonna tell you what we did get. I got some people in the chat that's from there, right? What we did get was, where the Jewish people at today? Oh, they got their holiday. They ain't celebrating in school. They wasn't putting it all up. And I swear to goodness, we just knew that, okay, this their day and they not coming to school today. Why wasn't they saying what you saying? You know why? Because they was busy teaching a story in their schools. They left the public schools to the public schools and then took on their own responsibility. And I feel like that's the best way. That's why they got their message out so well, because they're not dependent on other people to get their message out for them. That's why they can say, hey, what you say? Don't say that. And if you apologize, they will immediately back down. They don't keep their foot on your neck. Once you say, I was wrong, let me talk to a rabbi, maybe I'm wrong, right? I can fix that. And they make sure you back to getting your money on that. Why? Because they dedicated and not allowing you, me, nobody else, that they dedicated to it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not dedicated to it. We're too busy fighting a crazy fight. Nah, I want it in the school. Man, you don't want that in the school because guess what? You actually could put some pieces in there. You just got to put your money behind your mouth. Each school district, right? If you participate in the thing, I'm telling you, parents, teachers, meetings, all that stuff like that, man, not the parents, teachers meetings, but the parent, but what's it called? Damn, I can't even think of the board, right? Where you know, you actually participate in your child's education. You go to those meetings, right? And a certain amount of money that all communities can donate to that, right? And you can have discussions over what type of textbooks you can have. But you're not going to put an intelligent design textbook in there because you're religious, and you ain't going to put Marcus Garvey, who ain't as slick as everybody think he is. They ain't going to let you run that. You better have some serious dudes in there. Don't be promoting a half-baked person. They did half the stuff right, and the other half was just crazy.
Now listen, how we get to the Pan-African?
We're not.
I'm not speaking.
I'm making a person.
You took the shot at Marcus Garvey.
I didn't take a shot at Marcus Garvey. You took it as a shot.
I didn't mention. I didn't
take a shot at Marcus Garvey. You feeling it's a shot?
No,
Hit Doug Holler.
No. I didn't say anything about promoting Pan-Africanism. I'm talking about.
I didn't say Pan-Africanism.
You listen. I know what you're saying, Bobby. We've been in that Discord quite a bit. I know what you're saying. I just
go ahead.
So
the show ain't about that, but I wanted to make an example of how you're gonna have a hard one to get that through. But go ahead.
What I'm talking about is let me give you an example from
that's it. Parents Teachers Association.
Yeah, Parent Teacher Association.
That's
you said that.
You gotta be part of that though.
You
can't talk that shit on the sideline. You gotta be right there. But go ahead though.
No, I was part of my son's parent teacher thing. I'm not saying something I didn't do for my own.
Did you get Garvey in there?
Huh?
You get Garvey in there?
I taught my son Pan-Africanism at home. I didn't teach him through the school system, but I did, make some minor suggestions that they took up. Some minor suggestions that they did add to Tally middle curriculum.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, see? So they did. I'm reasonable in understanding that.
Okay.
We need to stay center of the line when we talk about how education should be in the public institutions.
I like that.
I'm not talking about fringe right or left. I'm not talking about none of that. But I am talking about giving a more accurate version of history.
Okay.
And I think that that's possible without all the propaganda that comes with certain communities, right? So Dr. Amos Wilson explains it, very similar. I don't have a book with me. I let somebody read it and they haven't returned it. I don't think they have any intentions on returning it. So I'm gonna paraphrase it.
Okay.
So he says that when you go to public school, you basically learn in every subject white history. You learn it when they talk about the Pythagorean theory, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I can never pronounce that guy's name.
Pythagorean. Go ahead. Pythagoras. Go ahead.
Right. So when my son was in school, when they got to that section, I went to the papyrus in Egypt saying, hey, son, yes, they credit him with it, but hundreds of years before, these other people had it.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
I like that.
And so what Dr. Amos Wilson says is, in the process of education, standardized how America has it, is that you learn in every subject the history of white people. Right? So when you go to math, they only talk about that. When you go to classic societies, they only talk about Greeks and Rome. Very rarely will you find them speak about Mesopotamia, but they do throw that in there. And you may have a chapter on Egypt, but we know from our own personal studies that Mesopotamia and Egypt was so much more than what they present here in America.
No, not no more. Yeah, you outdated.
I'm not outdated.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get it though, right? Like, it's not right now in 2023 when they speak in terms of like, you get your little, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go buy a textbook and we're just gonna see. How about that? Anybody got a particular school textbook y'all want me to get? We're gonna see. We're gonna just get history, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do that little thing for us, man.
We can get the McCarthy. Let me see if I can find one. I used to have one.
Yeah, let's get an up-to-date one and see what is going. I like this conversation. I like where we at.
Well, they just had a big fuss. Well, we got to understand how textbooks work in America, right? So, most textbooks are written in Texas, right? So most of them are coming out of Texas. And if you really understand the ideology of Texas, then you'll know what those textbooks really say. So about a year or two ago, they tried to remove slavery from the textbook, rewrite it into some
what they wanted to call it.
I forget what they want to call it. I think I posted a link about it.
Working for free.
No, they wanted to name it some crazy.
But we there to stop that, man. It's America, man. That's the thing to make America in America is the slave labor. It's the first thing that made America America. Let's get that straight. Okay, was that slave labor and that jump start. Okay, that's important. And remember, after the slavery was deemed illegal in the rest of the world, right? Well, meaning if they found you on the high seas with ships, with slaves, right? People like France and British, they was taking them. Okay, so that was a real crazy business. So they started breeding, and we got the books and we read it, and it talked about how they'd already knew the slave trade was coming to an end. Okay, and it was going to be illegal, so they'd already started breeding, and we got a couple books on that. Talking about the antebellum South. I just want to throw it in. I'm gonna let you finish talking, Marcus, because I'm feeling, I like to get your ass hyped up any damn way, because you always got a great conversation. Right. So here's one: medicine and slavery, diseases, health care of blacks in Annabella, Virginia. Okay. All right. And then you got the American Slave Coast, the history of slave breeding industry. All right. Okay, so yeah, it was a whole industry. So yeah, that's what made America great. So that's why people take offense. Let's make America great again. Well, hell, the greatest time was when they had the free resources to work out. Right? That's what made them great. All right. Was the slave labor. And no functioning black man or no functioning serious white person would want to take that out, because that is American history. Like, knock it off, right? So we got to stand up on stuff like that. But go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so this is from 2015. I had an earlier article that was from 2020 or 19, where they talk about this whole issue going on with Texas and the way they want to rewrite the period of slavery in America. Okay. You got it going on in Florida currently right now with the governor trying to control what's taught and what is not taught. So it's a constant struggle to ensure that we aren't written out of history as some would like, or that our story isn't minimized. You brought up about the Jewish community. They are staunch supporters of the story.
Say it again.
The Jewish community are staunch supporters of telling their story, ensuring that their story is told, and the tragedies that befell them is clearly stated. And I think we should take that same approach. We shouldn't minimize, irregardless of how they lie. To me, it sounds like you saying they lie. We know they're gonna lie, and that's okay because we can do this.
No, I'm saying, did the Egyptians lie when they said they won that war against the Hittites?
Yeah, because they didn't.
Okay, well, did the Hittites lie when they said they won?
No, they did.
No, that's not. That's the way you tell history, though. Did the Hebrews lie when they said they beat this and beat that? Did they lie though? That's how you actually tell. So you want to act. So is history a lie? And history is in the eyes of the beholder, yo. The way you see it, if I'm fighting somebody and we end up tying, in my head, I thought I beat you though, because I remember hitting you with that left hook. I ain't even feel the right you hit me with. I ain't feel that. I ain't feel it, bro. So when I write you, I beat him up. caught him with that left, that uppercut. I ain't feel it. I ain't, you hit me what? Then when he talk about the right hand he hit me with, but I ain't feel it. So I'm saying, yo, each is perspective. Then of course you're gonna find just some outright lies. Well, they wasn't slaves. Okay, that's an outright lie. Didn't no black people help build nothing, all that. That's outright lies. I get that. I get that. All right. So yeah, it's the title of the damn show. All right. Yeah, of course there's some lies in there. But I'm saying, but to the magnitude that we stood up and beat the drum, no, that's ridiculous. Like everything they told us lie. Well, where else was you getting it from? So it's up to us to organize it right. It's all there, Marcus, Cedric. It's there. We just got to organize it. It's there. Like where else was you getting it from? We wasn't writing those textbooks. We wasn't pornographic. We wasn't writing it down. We was enslaved. So at a certain point, we got to look through the stuff that's documented and put it together. You can't let them put it together. That's my point, though. You can't let them put that together because they're going to see it from their way. Remember, they seen it as slavery was cool, bro. And they had scientific basis behind it. So they thought they had pseudoscientific basis behind it. Made them feel good. They not all humans anyway. Half humans. Yeah, they not there. Well, I see you, Saint. How you doing? What's going on with you, man? Welcome back, man. Pseudo killer, welcome back. What's up with you?
How's everybody doing tonight?
We good, man. Maybe you can offer some perspective in here.
I'm listening a little bit. I know what I don't know who was speaking a few seconds ago. I know what he's talking about with Texas.
Okay.
They were trying to really whitewash, but that's nothing new. If you look at I want to even say it's in Georgia. I think I saw like there's something in Georgia, like in the textbooks where they wrote in like, basically the slaves were all out there singing and having a good time working. This is like, I don't know, probably like in the 50s or something like that, where they, Texas is in a way trying to go back and say, like, not call it slavery, basically call it but I mean, I don't know if it ever went through, but that was kind of an older story. What I heard you talking about earlier, I'm only getting, this is when I started watching, so I don't know if I missed some stuff, but you were talking about Germany. And, Germany, I mean, listen, when it comes to World War II and when it comes to anything, there's a lot of stuff that when they talk about war, they like glaze over a lot of stuff, right? You don't ever get, I mean, there's a lot more details and things like that. So what I found interesting about Germany was that they got their master race theory from the United States and the eugenics. They saw what they were talking. Oh, okay. I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
I thought I got knocked off for a second.
You right here.
Yeah. So basically, the United States had the whole eugenics, pseudoscience, race theory, and Hitler, that's where he got his ideas about a master race. A lot of it came from the United States, which was kind of ironic because they ended up fighting. But
then go back and kill him for promoting it too good.
Because back in you probably know a little bit about that, like back when the eugenics was going on, they were sterilizing people here in this country.
They still are. There's still laws on the books in prison. Somebody pregnant, you can sterilize. Yep, still there. I forget what state it is. It's a couple states.
Yeah,
crazy.
But they were like, basically they would judge and say, okay, this person's genes aren't good enough, so we don't want to keep spreading these genes, so we're going ahead and sterilize. Like if it was I don't know, mentally challenged people and things like that. So. But when it comes to, listen, I'm listening to the last guy. Listen, first of all, you're right. You're in a society that they're going to talk about their good things and not their bad things. And they're going to tell their story, and that's why it's history. And they're not going to tell everything. But you can learn, like he was talking about Samaria and things like. You go to college courses and you can learn a lot. They'll go into detail, but there's so much history out there. So yeah, they're gonna cater to the dominant society. I mean, that's so yeah. There is a lack of Black history taught in schools these days.
That's yeah. The real history and the really getting into the world history is done in college at higher levels. In high schools, that's not the place for that. You're not going to be able to catch that. You get your social studies, right? You get your world history course, your electives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Higher learning is really where you're going to get into all that, where you can have those classic debates about Pan-Africanism, you know what I mean? Garyism, who started the Russians, this, that, and the other. That's really it. So they have vast libraries in any college of worth. Okay, even community colleges got good libraries. So in actuality, you got to get your kids to college, right, to really get into that. All right, or you know, if you're not feeling college, you're gonna have to get into higher learning regardless. If it's the trade you want to do, you're gonna have to get into higher learning. You know, everybody don't want to go to college, but everybody to exist and maintain in the space age, you know, your game has to be risen in any field that you're doing, and that's going to require you to educate. So the simple things, reading and writing and arithmetic, these things have to be mastered by the African American community. It's a must. And those days of being illiterate are fading. You know, like my father taught himself how to read. My father, this is no lie, this is straight up, no cap. My father was moved out of his mother's house when he was 13, 12. Crazy, how? Working. I say, come on, man. His sister collaborated, made a force be with on Shirley, right? Yeah, and so, but that's not that no more. My father was a tailor, worked with his hands. That's not what it is no more. Yeah, you AI, you're gonna have to compete with that. Programming, computers, you know, just to do this show is some things you got to know. You got to have to move up the technology to deal with the pseudos. So, man, it required reading. You can go through so many YouTube videos, right, to learn how to do it and all this. Got to work the technology. So, you know, we back in that sweet spot where intelligence is just going to rule the day. Pandemics allowed to come through. You know, 8.5 billion people knowing what to do, what not to do, how to do it, how to handle your community. These things take a certain level of literacy. Scientific literacy is going to bode well going forward in the space age. So, yeah, where you at, Cedric? You gone?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Wake up,
Cedric. I'm listening. I was trying to quantify Marcus's comment because he has some validity, but at the same time, we have to realize the space that we're operating in. And again, the hunter always is the hero because the lion never gets to tell his story. So again, it seems as if there's an expectation, an unhealthy expectation that other dude is gonna tell a story that's gonna make me look good. I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's what Mark is just saying.
Yeah, I agree. Saying that's not my point. My point is I expect them to do that. My point is I can acknowledge that they're doing it while trying to combat it through different methods. So I can't say they're not lying, right? I can't just come out and say, no, yeah, they telling the truth, but they only telling part of the truth. It's a bold-faced lie what they got in some of these textbooks. Bold-faced lie. They completely
like what? Give me one. Give me one. Show it. Give me the bold-faced lie.
Let me go to this.
The Egyptians was white.
Well, we went through that. I told you the Hermetic hypothesis was taught into the 1960s.
Not in Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland, 1970. Look, in 19, hold on. 1967. This book was copyrighted in 1967. It's in the library. They don't got a date on it. 10/4 something. Man. And we come to this page right here. It say ancestors. You got it. I think you put it in the server, didn't you? You got the book. Of course you do. The American Negro. They was calling us the Negro, the American Negro. On page, this is in Baltimore City Schools. It says ancestors of American Negroes built civilizations in Africa. Negroes helped develop early African civilizations. Okay. 2, Negroes built great statues south of the Sahara. 3, Negroes developed rich and varied ways of living. 4, the African slave trade begins. All right. So we go to chapter 1. It says right here, it say on page 3, look, on page 3, I ain't lying. That's what I was reading when I was little. Look.
Is that Jewish school you was talking about?
No, this my father gave me this, the one that taught himself how to read. He was like, yo, read this. So he only gave me one book. It was this one.
So that book ain't in school.
It is. Look, it's in the library. Look, here you go. See it?
It's in your school library.
Yeah, look, it says, look, Edgar Allan Poe, Baltimore City Schools.
Okay.
All right. So if you was in Baltimore City Schools and was aware of that secret vault called the library, you had access to this. Obviously, my father, you might not have had access to it. My father must have stole it out the library. They returned it. It says, Egyptian Negroes helped build the cradle civilization about 6,000 years ago along the banks of the Nile in Northeast Africa. Modern man began to build one of the earliest civilizations. Attracted by rich natural resources, people of varying racial backgrounds settled along the Nile. Negroes helped to build that civilization, which today is known as Egypt. Villages founded by Negroes became important towns and cities within the Egyptian empire. Negroes farmed the land, helping to produce supply food that made city life possible. This is in the Baltimore City lot. Now, if you didn't take your ass to the library, you weren't getting it. And whose fault would that be? That would be on your parents, right? We used to go to the library all the time. We used to walk to the library, right? From Reuben Avenue, John Quill, okay? Up the street to the library. Before you got to the plaza, there's a library right there on the left side of the street. We used to go to the library all the time and just read, do our homework, do our book reports, right? Now, if your parents didn't promote and push that, then they're going to need you, Marcus, right? And so we got to be available for parents who ain't pushing education. So I get your point, right? For parents who ain't giving their kids these books. So don't get it twisted, right? It's still on us though, Marcus, because every parent is not going to do that. I get your point. I do.
Okay, I want to read a quote from the great Pan-Africanist W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah. If you thought I was gonna
thought we wasn't talking Pan-African.
Yeah, but you threw them shots out there, so I wanted to make sure. This is from the lies.
Did Marcus Garvey ever go to Africa?
No, not at all.
That's a shocking revelation. Are you serious?
I don't believe he did. I haven't seen any records of him going. I know he had some correspondence with some in Africa.
Oh, man, he trying to send everybody to Africa, but he wasn't going. Boy, Marcus is a funny guy, man.
So I'm gonna read this. This is from the
Meanwhile,
lies.
the federal government threw him out the tent. All right, go ahead.
This is from the lies my teacher taught me, right? And I posted.
Oh, that's a lie. Let me see that. Go ahead. Go. Let me get my pen. I'm gonna catch him. I got you. I dare you. I'm
gonna give you the whole name of the book. The lies.
I dare you. Here we go with the lie. I knew it. It's one of them books. I'm thinking
everything. Listen, everything your American history textbook got wrong.
What? Okay, let's go. Let's go. What?
By James W. Lowen.
James. Hold on, James James.
W.
That ain't Pan-African James, is it?
No, no. This is a book.
Oh.
This is a guy who analyzes like textbook, and I'm gonna share my screen with the other guy.
All right, James W. Who?
Lowen.
Spell it.
Loewen.
All right, we're gonna check him out. We're gonna make sure you ain't pulling this flim flam on us.
So
Some
here,
new Wapian guy. Go ahead.
So here is a quote that's at the beginning of his first chapter called "Handicapped by History."
Okay.
And it's by W.E.B. Du Bois.
All right.
One is astonished in the study of history at the recurrence of the idea that evil must be forgotten, distorted, or skimmed over. We must not remember that Daniel Webster got drunk, but only remember that he was a splendid constitutional lawyer. We must forget that George Washington was a slave owner and simply remember the things we regard as credible and expiring. The difficulty, of course, with this philosophy is that history loses its value as an incentive and an example. It paints perfect men, noble nations, but it does not tell the truth.
What? That's the fact? What? Man, don't nobody care if George Washington was drunk.
It wasn't George Washington. It was David Webster, the dictionary guy. And George Washington had slaves. That's what he said. But the point is not that. The point is what W.E. Du Bois is trying to espouse is that when you only tell the positive sides of these individuals, you create a dysfunction in society where you only see history is made to how can I say this? To be an example of what you can and cannot or should and should not do as a society as a whole. So when you put these people up on a pedestal, you create these false dichotomy. James Baldwin called it the herification of American history, which now you have 1,000 people running around here not acknowledging some of the tragedies that America has done to gain its premise in society. And now I'm going to share my screen. I see you shaking your head, no Saints.
No, I'm just listening. I'm in my. I'll talk about it.
Hey, no Saints. You like in the between a rock and a hard place, yo. The color of your skin kill you, yo. Ain't
Marcus,
you can say.
Marcus, I'm hearing a lot of ideology underpinning your position. And this ideology creates the illusion that history is a hard science and that truth is the objective and that we're going to go into the details. When we're looking at George Washington, for example, from an African American or African of the diaspora with regards to slavery, his role in it is significant. When we're looking at the formation of a nation, his battle on the Delaware is much more relevant than the few slaves he had. It is a matter of perspective. I'm not saying that owning slaves made him great or made him bad or whatever. It's a fact. However, the story that is being told, they don't tell you that he shit in an outhouse and used old newspaper either. It's irrelevant to the point that these people are trying to make. History is me telling you how good my shit is.
Yes.
That's what
why I was
it
shaking
is.
my head.
Like that is what it is. I'm not gonna tell you that me and my girlfriend had a fight last week. I'm only gonna tell you that we made love and got 6 babies. Like, really? We're expecting too much. The good and the bad. No, it's not science. It's me telling a story to make me look good. Well, what?
We can go to Wikipedia and get anybody we want to get. If your kids ain't reading Wikipedia,
well,
like I had encyclopedia books in my house, so I could go through and see all the people y'all act like they want to tell us about. I could look it up in the encyclopedia. But go ahead, no Saint.
No, I was just the reason I was shaking my head. It's not that I listen. I don't worship any of these people he's mentioning. I don't do that to anyone. But if you're gonna talk about that, you can. There's anybody that's your hero. I don't know who you admire in history. Dig into their past, and they're gonna have stuff that you're not gonna you're not gonna like. And I think that's what Cedric was kind of saying is like, let's talk about Michael Jordan. Well, he gambled a lot.
I don't want no Mike, like how much no we were talking basketball. I don't care if he gambled, that's irrelevant. Michael Jordan
Right.
equals basketball to me. Well, what I don't even know how much kids he got. Was he married? Irrelevant. The man is 6-0. The GOAT. You see, like, but now for somebody who has a gambling addiction, who family was destroyed by gambling or stuff like that, they might want to focus on that aspect of his history. And the rest of us going like, we don't care about that. So now, is the story false? Is a half-truth being told? No. We're telling the great story of Michael Jordan. We don't care about that nonsense.
I'm trying to share my screen.
Yeah, we can see it. We're waiting on you. You working.
So this is
Textbooks of the 20th century, Reconstruction. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is from the Hutchinson Center.
Okay.
If you ever want to, it's Gates from Harvard. There's a Hutchinson Center there, and this is one of the fellows who work at the Hutchinson Center. They have videos on YouTube and all like that. You can watch some experts come in and explain some of the books that they're writing or working on, projects they're working on. Have a lot of beautiful information on there if you ever wanted to get deeper into history. But this is a point that I'm making in this right here. So he's being interviewed by Time, and it's about an up-and-coming book he's going to talk about. He's talking about textbooks, history, and the issue that it develops in society, right? So I'm going to just read a section of the questions that are asked. He's not. So the first question that was asked is, why do you decide to write a book on the history of textbooks? And he explains that he went to Harvard, looked into some, he was working on another project, and he came across this large volume set they had of textbooks over the course of maybe 100 some odd years or something like that. And he just started going through them, and he found he was stunned by what he was reading. So that's the first question, right? And then they asked him this question right here. Overall, did you find a recurring theme throughout these textbooks? And here is where my issue lies. The overwhelming majority of them treated the introduction of African Americans into American society as a problem. The further you go into the 20th century, this is almost an evangelical theme of the problem of a Negro and how much he needed to be controlled because he was inept and ignorant, became the guiding theme of American history textbooks. After going through this whole collection, I thought, wow, this really isn't a study of textbooks. It's a study of national identity, because the purpose of the textbooks is to acculturate young people into American ideas, American destiny, and what is valued and honored by Americans. And what these books were saying well into the 1960s was that this is a white man's world.
Yeah, got you.
And so my point is, we no longer in the 1960s. We have to combat this ideology that is still present in textbooks, because we can go to the article about Texas, what they try and do. We can go to Florida, we can go to Tennessee, through numerous states that are right now trying to revert back to this same ideology that was going on up until the mid-60s. And so what I'm saying is, be diligent. It's not that they're not lying. They are, and you got to be well prepared to combat those lies. And not everyone is going to have the time or the resources to go buy journals. You know, I have access to journals. You know what I'm saying? I subscribe to some journals. Everybody's not going to spend money on that. I got books that are quite valuable. Everyone's not going to take the time out to spend money on that. I'm sure you got some books on anthropology that's a couple $100.
All my shit like that. What you talking about?
And so how many people do you know are going to be willing to spend that type of money for that?
My uncle put me into reading books.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how many people outside of that?
That's
Think about how many people.
That's their fault. That's on them.
But listen to what I'm saying.
And us. It's on them, and it's on me and you, bro. That's why I have shows.
Right. That's my point. And that was my point right there. You have shows to combat exactly what I'm saying these textbooks are teaching the children every day.
We do it. But you still gonna have to get the facts. So, all right, look, man, we bringing up people on the panel now, man. Hit the link, right? We in this part of the show, yo, where we lit. Guests just come on up, say their opinion, man. We at that moment, man. We got about 10 minutes left in this joint, man. Let me let them up. Let me see. Let me admit that. All right, you got Chef and L. All right, let them up on here, man. Yeah, that's a good point, though, Marcus, man. I appreciate that, man. That's why I want you on here to get your part. I'm gonna fight you in the daggone Discord, yo. But we in this part of the show, yo. We lit. What's going on, Chef and L? Yes, just come on up, say their opinion, man. Is that me? That moment, man. We got about 10 minutes left in this joint, man. Let me let them up. Let me admit that. Oh, that's you. You gotta your thing. So on your mind, Chef. Talk to us. Yeah, that's a good point, though, Marcus. Man, I appreciate that. Somebody got to mute. Let me see. Is that me? I'm gonna fight you in the daggone Discord, yo. But yeah, that's you. Unmute yourself. That's you. You gotta unmute yourself. Admit that. Right. That's you. You gotta turn off your YouTube. It's on your mind, Chef. Talk to us. Yeah, that's a good point, though, Marcus. I appreciate that.
Am I better now?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Oh, all right. Marcus was pretty much in my neighborhood, right? If we talk about what we didn't learn in school and whether history was taught wrong, in my neighborhood alone, right, in a big city, just in our neighborhood alone, just think about this. The Black schools, we had Malcolm X Elementary.
Yeah.
Dr. King Elementary.
Yeah.
Right? Langston Hughes Elementary.
Yeah.
Right? This is all just in our neighborhood. Right?
Yeah.
And this is in one community in Baltimore. We have multiple, and then right on the edge of our community, we had Frederick Douglass High School. You dig what I'm saying? So just in our area alone, you dig what I'm saying? The majority, like we knew Black history. Like it wasn't as if it wasn't being taught to us. You know what I mean? So the notion that they're teaching us wrong, I said in the chat, I will put up what I learned about in Black history in school, just in elementary and middle school. I will put that up against the majority of the stuff that I didn't heard in the conscious community.
And that was like in the hoods too. That's not even up in the affluent
exactly
areas. I went to Falstaff. That was the Jewish school mix, right? Yeah, so that was in the wild neighborhoods. They had them schools for people to get there, like this book, right? You know what that's at? That's down there off of Green Street, bro. You know what that's at? Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, listen. So I'm trying to figure out, right? It's propaganda to say, that we don't get accurate information, right? Y'all fight against this a lot on this channel, right? About the pseudoisms. They not teaching us. They teach you American history. You are American. Anything further that you want to learn, there's higher education for that. There's higher education for that. But I was taught in elementary school, first grade, that they brought the slaves from Africa. I come to the conscious community in my 40s, and I'm hearing people say, we was always here. They lying. I mean, so the misinformation is being taught here, not in school.
Yeah, it's worse.
You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out what is a lie that they taught y'all in school. I need to hear it. Because now is a lawsuit. Now we can start suing. You feel me? Now we can start suing. If y'all literally sitting here saying that they lied to you in school, then it's time for we need to do a class action lawsuit, right? Against all of these cities.
I shouldn't have put your ass up here.
It's the truth. I mean, we tripping. We tripping.
Damn. You Hey, Marcus, we trying to get some of that money, yo. What we gonna do? What we doing, Marcus? Yeah, we can get that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we starting the conscious community class action suit.
Lawsuit.
They lying to us.
They lying to your children. They lying to your children.
Oh man.
I come over here and I hear right now, could we clarify some things?
Mm-hmm.
Can we go more in depth about things in school? But school don't have the time to do that, right? They don't have the time to go into all of the minutia that we want dug up, right? But they teach you the general history, right? The general history. And far as African Americans, yo, it's a good thing that they take time out to recognize our history. I mean, they just started recognizing or promoting Asian history, right? And since I've been in school, African Americans, 10% of the population, has been getting a whole month to celebrate their history. Now, I'm not as old as them, but I think African American or Black history was around when he was in school. He only got me by 10 years. Mm-hmm. So Black History Month was around when you was in school.
Yeah, but we fought for that. That wasn't given. And I started my statement off saying that we got to continue to fight to get and ensure that our history is thoroughly through American history, taught thoroughly through American history. They didn't just voluntarily say, hey, guess what? Tomorrow we're going to start giving people Black history. I think what happened, we fought for that.
What if Italian Americans take that same stance? It's American.
Chinese Americans. They built the railroad. They built half the railroad.
Right. So the school system in America.
Nothing but history. You get no math, no none of that. It'd be all history.
It'd be all
8 hours. Jewish history.
What I'm saying is, listen, I gave you all the.
Hey, we're gonna let you make the last statement, Mark, because we out of here, man. We
done? All right.
Yeah, go ahead, make your last statement. You got the last statement, man.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that everything that I learned in my own research of history has to be put in the textbooks. What I'm saying is that the textbooks that our children taught today is very imbalanced. It is very Eurocentric, and it does not address, oh yes, it does not address.
They ain't got Marcus Garvey in there and Malachi York.
They don't need none of them fools in there. That ain't what I'm saying. I ain't saying that at all. I'm saying that when you hear about,
you call Garvey a fool, what do you want?
Yeah. You know, I don't stand with him. You know, I'm named after him. You know, I ain't with Garvey like that. You know who I read. You know who I'm with.
Yeah, I know you with, man. I'm with you. I like that.
Yeah,
so I was mess with you.
And we have to the progress that we've made so far.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We have to continue to stay vigilant. Because at a moment's notice, it can revert back to before the 1960s. We ain't in a place where we are utterly secure. Don't, Chef, you making that face. You go look at USA Today. Go look at the Times. Go read what's going on in Texas and
Florida.
That
Chef in L face.
And these
2-year war on
what
this.
they doing right now. So what I'm saying is that we got to stay diligent, and that we should have these YouTube programs that teach accurate history. I'm not talking about the foolishness that come out here, but I'm talking about accurate history to help educate people. And Chef, I'm still waiting for the Civil War video.
I know I gotta get to it. I've been super busy.
I'm gonna help you out, Chef.
My man.
I'm gonna help you out, yo, man.
Hey, did you check out? I know you was good live. I know you ain't check out the lady, the Egypt.
I might agree. She was talking about Osiris, right?
Yeah, she brought some heat.
I might agree with Osiris though. It's the Horus piece. I gotta see it. I don't agree. The Osiris piece and some other things. I like the way the video. It's a good video. I'm gonna go ahead. Maybe we'll play that. I tell you what. We'll play that next week or something. During the week, we're gonna do that. We're gonna discuss that video live on the thing. We're gonna do that. That ain't bad. I'm gonna get into it. Look, man, appreciate everybody coming through to the Pseudo Killers, man. Had No Saint, man. Got some old timers jump back in the building. God damn, No Saint, Chef and Ellen shit. You know, Cedric, man. We in the discourse. Marcus, man. We in here. Man, appreciate everybody coming through, man. Yeah, man. Don't be disappearing like that, no saint, man.
The problem was I was watching it. Sometimes I'll watch it on this TV screen, and I don't have any way to chat and stuff like that. But I've been paying attention. I've been watching.
I'll make sure you get that link, man. You hear, man. You know what it is, man. We don't make no bones about that, man.
I got.
You don't make no bones about that. They just had to attack me for it. Right? All right, like you got it, man. We need to educate point blank.
I want to say I agree with Marcus on his last point. Like, you got I know you want to close out, but like what you look at with Florida and DeSantis, who wants to run for president, and he goes with that. I agree that some of that quote unquote woke stuff is way too far left.
All of it is, I know.
But what I want to say is he's really race baiting when he does that, because when you hear that, it woke means, we're not teaching critical race theory. We're not doing any of that. You know what I mean? He's dog whistling. And so I agree in certain, you have to watch out for that kind of stuff, because he's right on that.
You do. You can't. I was going to read, I'm going to do this next week or during the week, right? Because we're going to start going live on Pseudo Killers during the week. I want to read some statements from UNESCO and all that. And you can't end up being the flip side of that. It is the craziest thing ever. You're going to get the same thing. It's like insanity, right? And practicing the same thing and expecting different results. So when you start lying about your history and making up, you did the same thing you charging other people with doing. How do you think that's going to end up? Look, with that, man, we're going to end that, man. Okay. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Pseudo Killers, man. It was a great show, man. Real smooth, real easy, man. With that, man, we out, man. Appreciate everybody, man. Look, hit that Cash App, man. Show Cedric some love, man. Cedric, you was quiet today. I don't know why. Got in early.
It's an interesting topic, and I was just forming my opinion. Because
that's right. Take your time. We're gonna have it. We're gonna pick back up on it, man. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna keep
great points.
Great topic, man. We're gonna stay on these great topics. Get in. We're gonna have some diverse opinions, man. Go ahead and join that Discord and get in there, man. Make sure you hit that Cash App too, man. Appreciate it, yo. We here, man. With that, man.